Max Holloway just shocked the world at UFC 318. Again, but now that he's declared himself a permanent lightweight, and with Dustin Poirier behind him, the question is clear. What's next for Blessed? In this video, we break down Holloway's most realistic next matchups, the fighters calling him out, the opponents he's already eyeing, and the rematch the UFC has to book. From rising stars to former champions, Holloway's next step might just shake up the lightweight division all over again. Let's get into it. After UFC 318, Max made it official. He's done with featherweight. And frankly, it makes sense. The way he handled Dustin Poirier, the way he's filled out physically, and his ability to absorb damage at 155, all of it points to a late career resurgence at lightweight. Max isn't just surviving here, he's thriving. And the UFC knows it. But now that he's planted his flag in this division, the options get a lot more interesting. And a lot more dangerous. 2. The Oliveira rematch. A new chapter. Max Holloway versus Charles Oliveira. A rematch over a decade in the making. Their first meeting back in 2015 ended in just 90 seconds when Oliveira suffered a freak injury. But since then, both men have evolved into entirely different fighters. Champions, legends, finishers. Now, both are in the top tier of lightweights, and neither has a clear next opponent. What makes this matchup even more compelling is how well their styles clash. Max's endless pressure and boxing versus Oliveira's elite grappling and unpredictable Muay Thai. There's also a bit of tension here. Timing-wise, this fight lines up perfectly for the late 2025. The rematch is overdue, and this time, it's personal. 3rd, Paddy Pimblett, the wild card option. Paddy brings eyes, controversy, and massive fan engagement. A fight between him and Max would do huge numbers. But let's be honest, stylistically, this is a nightmare for Pimblett. Holloway's volume, pace, and experience would likely overwhelm Paddy. But from a business standpoint, it makes sense. Pimblett wants a major name to legitimize his climb, and Max is a proven pay-per-view draw. Would it be competitive? Not likely. Would people watch? Absolutely, and that's why you can't rule it out. The Justin Gaethje situation. Now, Max Holloway already fought and beat Justin Gaethje. Brutally. He claimed the BMF belt and walked away with a highlight reel knockout that froze time. But could they run it back? Well, not anytime soon. Gaethje recently stated he's considering retirement unless it's for a title or something massive. And given the nature of his loss to Max, he probably needs a bit of time off to recover physically and mentally. But if Max wins again soon, and Gaethje still wants to make one final run, a rematch isn't impossible. Don't expect it next, but don't count it out forever. 5. No Islam, no problem. One matchup that used to dominate fantasy booking is now officially off the table. Max Holloway versus Islam Makhachev. Why? Because Islam is moving up to welterweight. He's chasing greatness, looking for double champ status and leaving the lightweight chaos behind him. That means Max won't get a shot at the Dagestani kingpin anytime soon. 6. Michael Chandler? Probably not. Chandler's name always floats around when big fights are discussed. But at this point, he's tied up in Conor McGregor limbo. Even if that fight collapses again, Chandler's next opponent will almost certainly be someone more promo-friendly. Think someone ranked lower, less technical, more chaotic. Max versus Chandler sounds fun on paper, but it just doesn't seem like it's on the UFC's radar. Chandler wants brawls. Max is a surgeon. Fun idea, but not likely. 7. Arman Tsarukyan or Mateusz Gamrot, the real contenders. Now, if we're talking about real killers in the lightweight division, Arman Tsarukyan and Mateusz Gamrot are both right there in the mix. They're younger, hungry, and technical, but they don't yet have that marquee name on their record. Max Holloway could change that. The UFC loves using big names to build future stars. But Max is no stepping stone, and these fights would be far more dangerous than they are rewarding, at least for Max's brand. Still, if Max wants to prove he's the best at 155, beating a surging Arman or Gamrot is the way to do it. Risky? Absolutely. But greatness isn't supposed to be safe. 8. The title shot question. Let's not forget, Max Holloway is a former champion, now holding the BMF belt. But to get there, he probably needs one more win. Whether that's Charles Oliveira, Paddy Pimblett, or someone else, Max's next fight will likely set up a title opportunity. And if he wins again in convincing fashion, the UFC might just have no choice but to put gold on the line. Max Holloway shocked the world at UFC 318, and now he's staying at lightweight for the long haul. But what comes next could define his legacy. A long-awaited rematch, a headline-grabbing money fight, or a path straight to the undisputed title. One thing's for sure, Blessed is far from done. And the lightweight division? It just got a whole lot more interesting. Thanks for watching. Now let us know in the comments. Who should Max fight next?